Hey, how's it going, YouTube? I'm back in the video, and today I'm talking about Jrue Holiday getting traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. So in this video, I'm going to get into the trade package itself, why the Pelicans did this trade, and why the Milwaukee Bucks did this trade. Because I actually think this is one of those trades that, like, both teams will come out a winner, which is kind of rare and kind of not as of late. And I mean, I think the Pelicans and the Bucks both have huge benefits of doing this trade. And yes, although there are some bad things for both teams, there are also way more good than bad. So yeah, like I said, getting to the trade package, getting into the actual pros and cons of the trade for both teams, I'm going to get into all that in this video. So if you do like the video at any point, hit the like button and the subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me. And I mean, you know, why not hit the subscribe button? It takes like 2 seconds. Just bow. You don't even have to hit it hard. Just tap it. I'm not going to be like other YouTubers, don't smash it. Just tap it. You know what I'm saying? When it turns blue, it's going to make you happy. Trust me. I would never lie to you. But anyways, with that out of the way, let's get right into this video. So the first thing I'm getting into is going to be the trade package itself. Basically what the trade was the Pelicans got Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, the Pacers 2020 first round pick, 2024 and 2026 swap rights for the first rounders, and the 2025 and 2027 first rounders unprotected from the Milwaukee Bucks. While all the Milwaukee Bucks got was Jrue Holiday. So now, yes, maybe it looks like a king's ransom compared to what the Bucks got, but this is a very valuable asset for the Bucks to get. And I'm getting to that a little bit later in this video. But first thing I wanted to do for the team-wise, I want to get into why the Pelicans actually did make this trade. Now, yes, although the Pelicans probably lost the fan favorite and team favorite player and Jrue Holiday, I mean, he is one of the best two-way guards in the entire NBA. He's extremely underrated, but they were still able to add both George Hill and Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe is a very, very good defender. Maybe not on the level of Jrue Holiday, but he is definitely right there, as I'm pretty sure in the 18 through 19 season, he got second team or first team all defense, and then the very next year, he was on another all defensive team. So Eric Bledsoe is no slouch when it comes to the defensive end, and George Hill last year led the NBA in three-point percentage, and if you don't know, the second best three-point percentage shooter was JJ Redick, both of which are now on the New Orleans Pelicans. So at least this adds tons of point guard depth, but what's most likely is going to happen is one of these two guys will end up getting traded. If I had to guess, it would probably be George Hill, because I think Eric Bledsoe could be a very solid, very good contributor to the New Orleans Pelicans roster. But it also wouldn't surprise me if they both get traded. But I mean, I think most likely one of them is going to get traded, and hopefully it ends up being George Hill, in my opinion, because George Hill, you can still get a lot. Like, if you trade him to the Lakers or the Clippers, they'll still give you picks probably, and maybe a few like decent young assets as well. So I think it would be very, very nice to end up trading George Hill or Eric Bledsoe. And this trade overall, even just player-wise, before you even get into all the picks, it just adds tons of flexibility to the roster, and they can go in so many different directions. They can trade, they can stick with this roster, they can do so many different things. This trade helps them like stay flexible and not be like a team that has to do one thing. But then most importantly, this adds tons of draft capital to an already very good team who has a ton of young talent, looking to add more young talent, and already a ton of draft picks as well in the future. So I mean, they were able to get 5 first-round picks, essentially, and now control 4 Milwaukee Bucks picks for the future. Now, a lot of y'all may be thinking, well, the picks don't come to 2025 and 2027. What was the point in this trade? It's like, I don't want to wait that long. Well, I mean, since David Griffin has came to this organization, they have been building for the future. I mean, look at it. They got Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, Josh Hart, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Jackson Hayes. All these guys are still developing, still trying to get to where they need to be, and a lot of them have took huge strides since coming with the Pelicans. So I mean, their team is in the right direction. It's just going to take some time for them to get where they need to be. So I mean, all these draft picks are probably going to be in line when they're starting to hit their prime, and they're going to be able to bring new young talent and assess what they got. And also in 2025, they're banking off, hopefully Jrue Holiday's retired by then. Hopefully, Chris Middleton maybe wants to go to his own team. And at worst case scenario for the Pelicans, Giannis is now the only good player on that roster, and they're a borderline or not a playoff team anymore, which would be absolutely huge for the Pelicans, as now those picks might turn to lottery picks, which would be huge for the New Orleans Pelicans. And at worst, if those picks still are like in the 20s somewhere because they're a playoff team, you can still use those picks to trade up in drafts and hopefully get get better picks from that. So they can do also so many flexible things through the draft now due to how many draft picks they actually have acquired. So really what this trade does is add tons of flexibility, tons of depth, and just gives them so many options going into the future, which David Griffin obviously is building towards and loves to see how he's building the future up so much. And now for why the Milwaukee Bucks did this trade is pretty much like they were almost forced to do it. They were desperate for any sort of star talent to come into this roster. They just needed it. They knew they could not keep running it back because then they risked the chance of losing Giannis, which they just could not do. They cannot risk that. So what they did, they got desperate. They gave up a ton of picks, a ton of assets to go and get Jrue Holiday, and they pretty much gambled their future. Because now look, if Jrue Holiday regresses, because he is getting older, if he starts regressing, Chris Middleton doesn't keep developing, and Giannis stays where he's at, doesn't develop a jump shot, this Milwaukee Bucks team could be in trouble because they did get rid of tons of role players while making these two trades. But now also what could happen is that Jrue Holiday could stay the guy he's always been, that all-star level player. Giannis could develop a jump shot, and Chris Middleton can keep developing as well, and now you have a legit finals contender. So I mean, the Milwaukee Bucks are having to risk a ton on this Jrue Holiday and Bogdanovich trade. So I think a ton of this is going to be significantly impacting their future, and they had to gamble it. I mean, really losing Giannis is also gambling your future. So not making the trade is also gambling your future. Just not getting rid of picks, you're getting rid of a once-in-a-lifetime superstar in Giannis. So it was really kind of a rock and a hard place type situation. That's why they went out and made this trade. And I mean, Jrue Holiday is an extremely underrated player. He is an all-star whether people like it or not. He never made an all-star with the Pelicans, but he most definitely should have. I mean, the dude is a multi-time defensive all-NBA team. Should be a multi-time defensive player of the year. And if you listen to how any NBA player interviews, when they're asked who the most underrated player in the NBA is, almost every single time they say Jrue Holiday. So I think for sure Jrue Holiday is going to help this team. He's going to definitely make them a better team. He's an all-star level player. He's one of the best, if not best, guard defenders in the entire NBA. He's an absolute beast, and he can take over games offensively. And to make it even better, where the Bucks struggle in the playoffs is no longer going to be a struggle because Jrue Holiday is going to be able to guard their best guy. He's going to be able to add floor spacing. He's going to be able to do so much to help Giannis out in the playoffs. It's going to be unreal. And the one time we saw him in the playoffs with Anthony Davis, or the two times, should I say, he went off both times, especially the second time. And that's when the world really started saying Jrue Holiday's name once again because of how well he was playing. So, I mean, when you really look at it, that both teams needed to make this trade. The Milwaukee Bucks really got an absolute dog in Jrue Holiday, and they did get better. They did kind of get desperate. They probably didn't have to give up this much to get Jrue Holiday, but they did not want to risk losing Jrue Holiday either. So I think they kind of had to put up this much, and the Bucks, although they were putting a rock in a hard place, I think they did make the best out of a hard situation. So yeah, but unfortunately, guys, that's gonna be it for this video. So comment below, do you agree with me? Do you think this trade won for the Bucks, or do you think the Pelicans won it? On your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like the video, and point hit like button and subscribe button. It mean the absolute world to me. All glory to God. Hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. See you in the next video. Goodbye, boo, blah.